Space Croutons! Space Croutons, season 3.14. Space Croutons, season 3.14.
Greetings, this is Solly, popping in to let you know that today's episode is a behind-the-scenes conversation with some of the geniuses, yes, they made me say that, who bring Space Croutons to life. So please listen in as Rachel takes the mic and opens a window into how our show has become what it is, and then get ready for Space Croutons Season 4, coming your way in just a couple of weeks.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. We are here with our Space Croutons crew, and we're going to start out with some introductions. So let's get it rolling with Jeff, and then you're going to popcorn it after you give your introduction, say who you are and your role with Space Croutons. You'll popcorn it by calling on the next person.
Okay, my name is Jeff, and I am one of the 4 co-creators of Space Croutons. Been doing this for 3 years now, and it's been a family affair with lots of friends also involved. And in order to move this along, I'm going to now hop it over to Jerry.
Hey, so I'm Jerry. I'm also one of the 4 creators, and absolutely love to be a part of this. Love the fact that we share in all the writing, producing of everything. And now I'm going to pop it on over to John.
Hi, I'm John. Like Jerry and Jeff, I'm one of the original conspirators with Space Croutons. We've been having a lot of fun with it to the point where we just don't know how to either turn it off or just want to keep going, see how far we can go with it. But it's been a blast, and we just can't wait to see what happens next. And with that, I'm going to send it over to our sister Della.
Hi, I'm Della, and also one of the co-creators. I do some writing for the show and some voice characters for the show. And over to Patsy.
Hi, I'm Patsy Puckett, and I'm not an official Goodson family member, but I'm a friend of the family for a very, very long time, and I happen to be a couple of the voices in our Space Croutons broadcast. So thank you. And I'm very excited to be a participant in the whole thing. It's just, the whole universe is fabulous. Yay. Oh, and I'm going to pass it on to James M. Yes, James.
Hi, I'm James Jarrett. I am one of the voices and occasionally a collaborator on doing some edits for scripts. And I do not know who has not gone yet, so I will pass to whoever has not.
Yeah, I think we got just about everybody. My name is Rachel, and I am excited to be one of the voices, and every once in a while coming up with a pun or two for a script. That's my key role right there. So for everyone that is in this Space Croutons world from a weekly to a day-to-day basis, what is it like to work on the podcast? How do you do that? Start with Jeff.
Okay.
That's your question, Jeff.
Yeah, I guess I work on it on almost a daily basis. There's always an episode to either record some stuff for, or to put together for a final production, or another one to write a script for, or to brainstorm an idea for. We put out a new episode every 2 weeks, so it keeps us pretty busy. Every once in a while, I'll take a day off and go, I'm not going to think about anything. I'm going to go for a bike ride. And that's usually when I get my next idea for another episode. Yeah, so that's what it's like for me.
So from my perspective, a lot of inspiration helps me, really drives the story creation. And then my fellow teammates help also inspire me by giving me deadlines to turn in my work.
I really enjoy the collaboration end of it, where we get together and discuss ideas and then see where we can go with it. Some of the best episodes that I've seen come out have been just a product of that type of a work environment where it took everybody together, not just the 4 of us. I mean, even people that aren't here right now have contributed greatly in the development of those projects and those ideas.
Well, the part that I play is so much smaller than the other guys because mine comes in spurts. I'll spend a weekend writing on a story, and then it'll be a couple of weeks and they'll say, hey, we need you to voice this part. So mine is just a little bit more sporadic, and I don't do any of the production, which saves me a lot of time. They spend a lot of time on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she says that she has contributed immensely to all of our musical numbers.
Yes.
I love that. Let's talk a little bit about the writing. How many people are writing the different episodes? We know that there's a variety of styles, but they still seem to complement each other. So how does that work?
Well, I'll give an example. James already mentioned it. He said that he collaborates and does script edits. He mostly does that for me, and I really appreciate that. I was driving on a 10-hour drive one day, and I called him and we brainstormed a whole script. And since I was driving, he typed everything up for me and put it in a Google Doc. And it was very fun and interesting. And anytime I call him for help with the story, his ideas are always just what I needed. I mean, it's amazing how he can just bring in a really cool, interesting idea and take my story in a whole nother direction, which is fine with me. I love it. I love being inspired by others. I've also called the other guys and said, hey, I need help here or there with this idea, or because I'm not the most geeky science fiction person. I'm really writing outside my comfort zone a lot with that. And so these fellas helped me out quite a bit.
Della, was it your classroom that helped with one of the stories?
They came up with a commercial. Yes, they came up with a commercial idea for one of the stories. So I was quizzing them about their favorite cereal brand, and that's and they helped me come up with a commercial for that.
Della's right. We've done a lot of collaboration on several of the stories. Probably more of the stories than not have been written by the group and not by an individual. Collaboration or inspiration outside of the core group has also been quite immense. One of my stories, The Tower, was based off a poem that Jace had written. And the story of Piggy was actually inspired by a news article that my mother-in-law had written back in the 70s. So inspiration comes from everywhere.
And I can add on to that because my favorite story from season 3 that I wrote was inspired by and took a life of its own because of something that Rachel's youngest, Joanna, said. She called her little creatures fluffernutters. And I'm like, that's the name, and that's going in the story.
Well, that leads to my next question is, where do you get your inspiration from for the stories and the characters and kind of all the different things they go through?
Everything from old TV shows to Twilight Zone episodes to TV commercials, cartoons that we may have seen in the past. Anything is fair game. And a lot of that has been used. Even personal experiences, people have done stuff in their lives. There's fun in all of that. I think we've touched on a lot of those experiences ourselves.
Yeah. And every once in a while, we'll hear a strange and interesting fact. Like very recently, I came across on one of the social media sites a meme somebody had posted about there's no channel 37 on the UHF dial for television. Now, we don't use the UHF dial anymore, but as a kid watching regular TV, it didn't even occur to me that there wasn't a channel 37. I'd never heard about it or why, but that little detail right there became the inspiration for a story. It's like, well, if there's not one, there must be some kind of sinister reason for it.
And a lot of people didn't even know about UHF 37, period, that there was a UHF channel.
I did not realize what a science fiction geek I am until we started doing this podcast, because I understand the references that are in the podcast. And I go, I didn't know that I knew all this stuff. And like Jeff said, the stuff that happens through the episodes and the real life connection they have has been fascinating for me too.
Yeah, that's a great point. So what kind of Easter eggs should our listeners be looking for in the podcast? What are some examples that they can expect?
For instance, in the last episode, there was a reference to a mechanism in the bookcase. And so whenever I repeated the line, I said, behind the bookcase, which is a reference to the Young Frankenstein movie and the same type of scenario. So little things like that may or may not have even been intended, and they just pop in.
From the story of The Tower, there are a couple of references to some Stephen King stories.
Yeah, well, that's what I
Gunslinger
thought.
And Man in Black both came out of that. So pick any episode and you'll find something.
And so far, at least as far as I know, he hasn't left any comments on the website yet. So he must be okay with them.
Oh, right. That's why he hasn't left any.
Silence is complicit affirmation, right?
Yeah,
so
silence
totally
implies
approve.
consent.
Silence is, yeah.
And we do reference them all the time.
There's lots and lots of pop culture references from movies and TV shows and books. We reference The Raven in a couple of the episodes. And usually it's stuff that we're really familiar with, that we think is really cool stuff that we will reference. What are some of the other ones?
There's everything from, Young Frankenstein, Princess Bride, I mean, I had an episode with nothing but one-liners from the different movies on the Channel 37 to see how many I could cram into the 15-minute window. So,
Abbott and Costello, the Marx Brothers, tons of comedy teams and TV shows, movies, you name it, it's in there.
Yeah. Then their personal references too,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Oh, yes.
What are some of those personal references?
But nobody's commenting about the.
I mean, you teased us with it, so now we got to share. What are some of those personal references? Yeah, let's talk about the number 88. What's going on with that? It's in there a lot.
but was it just a random number?
Well, it's the number of keys on a piano keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
It was also the sports number for our brother Jay.
Yeah.
And it's into infinity signs, which is cool.
It
That's
is.
true too. Mm-hmm. There's so many different levels to it.
I love that. Well, where else do you get personal inspiration? I know that there was one phrase in particular that I think came from a 3 or a 4-year-old. It was in one of the episodes. Let's hear about that story.
Well, that was in my story, the Simply Nutters episode, where the children had received a gift of some creatures from another planet, and I needed a name for the creatures and some idea of what they might look like. And I was talking with my granddaughter, Joanna, 4 years old, and she said that she called her little stuffed animals the Fluffer Nutters. And I'm like, I have to use that. It was just so adorable and so cute, and it just fit with the story perfectly.
Yeah, that is a great episode.
And it's got to be so cool for the kids. I mean, just the fact, like with Seaver, because Seaver started out in previous seasons and he was younger and his voice, was way up high. And now he's like a full grown man and his voice has deepened. And it's just so heartwarming and wonderful to hear the difference and to realize that, yes, life goes on, even on a podcast. It's amazing.
That's a great point, Patsy. How did you explain that in the story, that his voice radically changed?
He grew up.
He got older.
He got older.
Yep,
just
said,
all of us
honestly.
do.
Uh-huh. Yep. We just made sure that the time period between the previous episode where he was recorded before his voice changed, that same amount of time had passed for the new episode happened. So.
I love that.
Which is fabulous because the whole podcast is about time travel. And so we can actually manipulate time to do it correctly. So
that's what I was thinking. When you can manipulate time, anything is possible.
There you go.
There's nothing that can happen that we can't justify.
Yeah, Tom Hanks did something like that in Forrest Gump. Every time passed, he would show up in a new blue and white checkered shirt.
Those probably came from the costumers. They wanted to
get rid of them,
save money. Yeah. Yeah.
That would be hard to do on a
podcast.
I
would say that we save a lot of money when it comes to costumes because you can wear whatever you want.
Well,
Seaver has worn the exact same outfit in every episode. Just can't see it.
Does Cody have an outfit?
Yeah.
He hasn't outgrown that yet?
I love that. Well, talking about the characters, I know we have some of our voice actors in the room. In fact, I think that everybody has voiced some character. Talk about that process and how do you prepare and how do you get into character?
Well, I'll start this because I have been relatively silent. So usually for me, starting to think about the characters starts whenever I get to read the script. I might get a little bit of a heads up about it because sometimes they'll talk to me about what sort of character or what sort of story they're thinking of writing ahead of time. But oftentimes it's just, hey, we've got a character for you to do. Do you have some time to record this voice for us? And then I'll get to read the script and read over who this character is. Sometimes we have special requests, like we had a New Zealand character who was living on Easter Island, and I am not from New Zealand or Easter Island, and so that took some time to try and replicate that accent as best I could, and your mileage may vary for how well that happened. And then other times we have characters like there was a scientist in Always and Forever, and he just was the most full of himself guy that I could see on that page. And so I tried to pour as much of that arrogance and self-assuredness into that performance as I could. And I thought it turned out to be pretty fun.
It turned out great.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
That was one of those instances where, as we were putting the episode together, getting it down on paper, it's like, what's the voice? What's the voice of this guy? What is it? Oh, I bet James could do a really fun something with that. So yeah, sometimes the actor gets matched up with the character as it's getting written. And we go, oh, that's where it needs to come from. So yes, that was a great performance.
It was.
Every time I've asked him to do something, he just nailed the voice right on. I mean, just didn't have to warn him about anything. He just hit it.
If you didn't have to warn him, we know that he has done improv before. So, James, will you share with us your New Zealand voice versus your arrogant voice so we can see that these actually come from the same voice actor?
Let me actually pull up those scripts.
There you go. This was
that way I can actually.
That was
those season 4,
Season 3.
season 3.
There'll be a return in season 4, though.
Oh goodness.
I was going to mention the challenge is when we started back in season 1, and we didn't know if this was even going to take off or anything. So when I was asked to do a voice, I did a voice, and I went, okay, that was great. It didn't occur to me that the voice may be coming back, and that I got to do it again and again and again. And it was like, I'm going, glad it's recorded so that I can listen to it so I can remember what it sounds like, because that can be tricky.
Oh, yes, to make sure that you've got the same voice coming back. That's so true. All right, James, you ready there?
All right, I am not finding the other one, so I'm just going to try and figure out what that New Zealand voice was on the fly. So let's do that.
Jared, the title of the episode is Scrolling Along, if you were trying to figure out the name of the episode.
There we go.
He scrolled too far.
I did. Yep. Those statues are heaps more interesting than the story of how I came to live on the island. My uncle started a sheep farm out in the Wop Wops, and he needed some help running the sheep. He invited me out to come assist him. I liked it, so I stayed. So that is from Scrolling Along, and then from All Raisin Forever. The constellations of the Milky Way quilt my Aunt Mercy handmade for my high school graduation gift decades ago has fallen off the left side of the bed again, which means I need to head to my laboratory. You don't see the cause and effect? Then let me explain. And that is our scientist from All Raisin Forever.
Very good. Yes. Round of applause for everyone.
Yes.
Now, for all of folks who are voicing different characters, how many takes do you normally have to do? Are you a one shot, I've got it? Or are you like 10 or 12 or somewhere in the middle?
Well, as far as with me, like this season, I've done Vera Shanti and Charlie. And luckily, not all of them have been in all of the same episodes, but there's been one or two that I was going, I'll never be able to do both lines in the same time. But we survived. And it can take, there's this perfectionist part of me that makes me do it over and over and over and over again, which I know the guys love because I'll give them like 18,472 inflections of one sentence. And I make them choose. They tell me to only do 3, and I still give them 27. So, yeah.
I usually give them 3 takes because I like to give a little bit of variety so that you can decide which one's best. The process of getting to those 3 takes may take quite a bit more than 3. So usually it'll be 6 or 7 times reading through a line before I'll get those 3 takes in and have 3 that I think are good enough to at least send and have them be able to pick which one is good.
And this explains why the two of you are asked to voice more characters than I am, because if I can get it in one shot and it's good enough, I'm like, there you go. Good luck. If it's bad, tell me to redo it. But otherwise, we're moving on.
Yeah, but Patsy also gives you the editorial comments in between the takes, which makes it really interesting and fun to listen to.
Well, it was really fun trying to record all the grandchildren and their lines for the Fluffernutter story. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just like, I just recorded and let Jeff listen and pick and pull. And if I liked it, I didn't stop. We just recorded live and sent it just the way it was. So he had to piece through and really sift through and find the best lines.
It was really fun, though, because you could tell the kids were having a great time most of the time. 1 or 2 moments where it's like, okay, I think they're kind of done for now. So let's see what's next. But it was really delightful.
I was wondering, did the kids approach you about doing the voices, or did you approach them? Did the kids know what was going on before?
Well, since Seaver's character is Levi, Rachel's oldest, Joel, her second born son, has been asking for more parts. And so I knew that he was up for it. And then Clara and Joanna, they were very happy to do it. But then I had rebellion. I used both of Jessica's, my daughter's two girls, but her 5-year-old said, no, thank you, very adamantly, and she would not be swayed. So we had to go with Riley when she was 3 years old at the time. So she did a good job.
I love
we're
that.
big proponents of people who want to be part of this. Get to be part of this.
Right.
So
Since you are talking about the different seasons, you have made interesting choice. You know, in TV series, they tell you never change the theme song. People get mad about changing the theme song, but yet every season you change the theme song. Tell us about that. How does that happen and why?
well, because we ignore the advice of the industry professionals. If it means that we don't get to do what we want to do, then we just go, well, just ignore them. We'll do it. Yeah, we had the theme for season 1, and as that was coming to a close, we had a discussion. Went, oh, let's do a new theme song. Okay, and then season 2 was coming to an end. So, oh, we did a new theme song for season 2. Did we want to do a third? Sure. And so it gives us a chance each year to come back around and say, okay, what do we want it to do this time? And I believe we've had someone volunteer to help work on the season 5 theme song if we get that far. So we're apparently creating an energy that's getting out there where people want to contribute to the theme song each year.
Is that what we calling it now? Volunteer?
That's yes.
Okay.
Some people were conscripted and others volunteered.
Yes, was everybody gets paid the same.
Well, no, they got bonuses for that.
Oh, did they?
Yes. Yeah. Additional percentages.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have to watch what you say when we're recording the theme song. It could end up as part of it. That's what Joanna found out.
Does anybody have a favorite theme song? Which season had your favorite theme song and why?
I really like the part where they say, does anybody have pie?
Well, there's an Easter egg in the season 3.14 theme song just for musical geeks. When we were recording it, I told the guys they had to leave the 314 because that's musically the third note and the first note and the fourth note of the scale. So I said, you can change anything else, but you have to sing it this way. I'm not sure we have any musical geeks that caught on to that, but it delighted me to put it in there.
Well, now everybody's going to go and listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody will just be walking around singing 314.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I've enjoyed all the theme songs. They're all just really, really super fun.
All fun. That's good. And speaking of things that are fun and enjoyable, Space Croutons now has an IMDb page. So how did that happen?
IMDb started putting our episodes on their site. And so it's like, oh, okay, then I guess we have access to make it into something. I've not done as much work on it as Jerry. You've done more work on it, so I'm going to let you speak to it.
Well, actually, Della brought it to our attention and she had already started putting stuff out there. So I was just trying to help out and fill in some of the gaps.
Check out the ratings on IMDb.
A lot of 5-star ratings on our podcast.
A lot of 5 stars. That's right.
Yeah, so you can tell that we're the only ones rating it so far.
To say how many people are in the room and how many ratings are there. Everybody go, rate it. Enjoy
an average
it.
is an average, right? Yeah.
Awesome. But you have been nominated for a podcast award. So tell us about that.
Well, it was Best Fictional Podcast, and it was the Minnesota Web Fest last year. We were an official selection, and so I went up and attended the festivities, and we were nominated, and we didn't win, but we had a good time.
Yeah, but being nominated, I mean, there's no basis to the rumor that Jeff had already prepared an acceptance speech and had booked rooms and everything, and he was ready to go.
Yeah, there was a party room booked for the after party, but since it didn't happen, there was no after.
We'll just have to save that booking for next time, right? We'll just push the reservation so that way you've already got it prepared.
And the speech that John wrote for me, where he is the first one that gets thanked, it's still in the pocket of the coat.
That you gave away?
Yes.
Are there any festivals coming up where we can see the Space Croutons crew?
Yeah.
I think she's referring to the possibility that we may be part of.
Next
Ah.
summer's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every summer in the Twin Cities in Minnesota, there is a Theater Fringe Festival in August. And we are looking at seeing if we can get a slot in the Fringe Festival. Then our plan is to take an episode of the podcast and perform it live on stage in front of an audience.
And isn't also that is celebrating the 100th episode? Is that what it is?
We've got to count it up. We think it might be more like the 102nd episode, but
Okay.
that's a much more important episode anyway, because it's 102, not just 100.
Now,
Well,
in
I
all
think-
of your seasons, do you have, does anybody have a favorite episode?
Anyone? Anyone?
Anyone?
Season 3 was probably my favorite episode. Was A Dickens of a Christmas Curdy. So
That was a very fun episode put together.
I really enjoyed the Escape to Liverpool episode, which basically mimicked an escape room.
I've enjoyed the finale episodes each season in as much as it kind of ties everything together from what's happened in that season.
I really enjoyed the episode with Seaver and the ham radio, where we learn a lot more about Curdy's family, all in the Clammerwood family. That was fun.
There's not an episode that I don't love. A Castaway Tale with a salute to Gilligan's Island and all the TV shows that we reference. It just puts a smile on my face.
I'll tell you, my favorite one to voice is the one where Sally got the human emotions pack and trying to figure out if Sally was going to try to lean into these emotions or if they'd carry her away or if she'd still try as much as she could to stay out of them and be disgusted by them. That was pretty fun.
These characters do get complicated, don't they?
Let's talk about, we talked about some of our favorite episodes, but let's talk about some of the seasons coming up. I hear that there might be some cameos in the next season, or maybe some impersonations of people who would be cameos. Let's hear about that.
Well, who's left?
Well, I do believe there may be a Neil Diamond cameo next season,
Yeah.
or at least a Neil Diamond impersonator.
Ah, yeah. We can probably get one of those. Any celebrity who'd like to do a cameo on the show, we would certainly be open to that.
Yeah, I don't think we've turned anybody down yet, have we?
No.
Okay. All right.
And we only do impressions of the celebrities if they are not available themselves.
True.
Celebrity cameo, first choice. But if they're not available,
Now,
Right,
if
right.
we can get a celebrity to imitate a different celebrity, that's even better.
I
So-
love that. Who would you want to have a cameo? If it could be anyone, who would you want? Let's go ahead and invite them now, because I'm sure they'll be listening to this behind the scenes and they will be so flattered that you wanted them.
Morgan Freeman. This is
Yes.
an official invite. Morgan Freeman, you're invited to join the show.
Meryl Streep, you're invited.
Oh, yes.
James
Mhm.
Earl Jones. We need your voice.
Yeah, that's a good
He already
one.
sold it to Disney, though.
Christopher Lloyd wants to come on. We would love to have him.
There you
Christopher
go.
Lloyd would be great.
So what keeps you driven and wanting to continue making Space Croutons? Is it gotten farther than what you expected? And what kind of is keeping it going?
And the guys invited me to do it. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. To myself, I was thinking, oh, we'll probably do 4 or 5 episodes. It'll peter out. So I'm a little that it's lasted this long.
It really is the family. It is the participation, the interest, the creativity, everyone wanting to be involved that just keeps it rolling. The idea of stopping just doesn't play into it anymore.
All right. Well, thanks, everyone. We appreciate your time and being willing to share with all of our listeners about behind the scenes for Space Croutons.
Space Croutons, season 3.14. Come on! Space Croutons, season 3.14. Again! Space Croutons, season 3.14. Oh yeah! Space Croutons, this is not season 4.
Space Croutons is a work of original fiction. Similarities to persons, situations, or events, real or fictional, is coincidental and unintentional. Created and written by Jerry, Jace, John, Della, and Jeff Goodson. Episode story by everyone in the room. Original music by Della, John, Jeff, and Jerry. Production by Jeff. Featuring the voice talents of Rachel Blakesley, James Jared Morrow, Patsy Puckett, Della, John, Jerry, Jeff, and Sally. Entire work copyright 2022 by Jeff, John, Jerry, Della, and Jace Goodson. This has been a Good Witch audio production.